Okay, hello and welcome. Here we're thrilled to guide you through the fascinating words of pragmatics, the study of how we really communicate beyond just the words we say. So I'm Vito, my student number is 107, and I'm joined by my brilliant teammates. There are Davinka, student numbers 012, Elhanan student numbers 026, and Khansa student numbers 032. Today we'll cover four key concepts. The first one about the maxim of conversations, the second one is implicature, the third one speech acts, and fourth one politeness strategies. So I'll kick us with the maxim of conversation. So let's begin.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. And I think I proved that today at the dojo.
So the first example is from The Office, the series in US. Michael Scott, the character, said, "Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both." So this flaws the maxim of quantity and relevance. So Michael doesn't give a direct answer. He offers a nonsensical both, revealing his desire to be adored and respected. It's funny because it's illogical, so it's a perfect flouting. The second one, next.
I didn't think there was a relationship to jeopardize. I thought we were broken up.
We were on a break.
That, for all I knew, could last forever. That, to me, is a break up.
Okay, the second one is from the series Friends, from the character Ross Geller. He said, "We were on a break, so Ross flouts quality and relevance. He clings to a technically to avoid emotional accountability. It's a classic example of how flouting maxims can expose character flaws or relationship chaos."
I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute! I believe we have a volunteer. Mr. Mayor?
Next, from the Hunger Games by our main character, Katniss Everdeen. She said that I volunteer as tribute, so this flouts the maxim of manners. So Katniss doesn't explain why, she just acts. The brevity carries immense emotional weight, showing how flouting can amplify drama and heroism. So next.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard!
Next, from the movie Harry Potter. Hagrid said, "You're a wizard, Harry." Hagrid flouts the maxim of quantity and relevance. He drops a bombshell with zero context to create instant wonder and confusion. So it's a masterclass in a dramatic impact. The next one. So it's from the book The Catcher in the Rye by Holden Caulfield. So it quotes, "I'm quite illiterate, but I read aloud." This flouts the maxim of quality. Holden's contradiction isn't a lie, it's a metaphor for his disdain for formal education. Flouting here reveals his cynical worldview. Next, also from The Office, Season 2, Episode 1, Michael Scott again.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
He said that, "I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious." So a flouting of maxim of manner here happened, and Michael invents a word stitious to sound clever. It's awkward and hilarious and perfectly captures his character. Next. Okay, the next example is from the book Pride and Prejudice. So it quotes, "In vain have I struggled. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you." So this flouts the maxim of manner. There's the characters. Ornate language is over the top. But it reveals his internal struggles, and flouting here adds emotional depth.
See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
And the last examples from the movie The Dark Knight. So the character Joker said that, "See, I'm not a monster, I'm just ahead of the curve." So it's flouting the maxim of quality and relevance. The Joker twists logic to justify evil. So it's a chilling example of how flouting can create sinister complexity. So that's all about the maxim. Let's move to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Khansa with student number 032. Now I will explain a little bit about implicature. Implicature is something a speaker suggests or implies with an utterance. And I provide 8 evidence of implicatures from a short story. First, there's no time. The implicature is mouse doesn't literally mean that there is zero time, but the situation is extremely urgent. Second, you go first, then you. The implicature is, in the story, Eric is indirectly saying that the other engines are faster than him. Third, they can do it. The implicature from the story is, Mouse is not only stating failure, but he implies that Eric must arrive immediately because without Eric, they will fail and the train will crash. Fourth, the porridge is too hot. The implicature from the story is she doesn't describe the temperature, but she needs a different porridge that she can eat comfortably. Fifth, someone's been eating my porridge. The implicature is there is an intruder in the house. Number 6, all the better to eat with you with. The implicature from the story is he wants to eat Little Red Riding Hood. 7th, help, Rudolph. The implicature from the story is he can't move and needs immediate help. And the last but not least is see you again next year. The implication from the story is they will naturally meet again in the next year.
Okay, so now I'll explain my findings. There are 4 I found from the Little Prince novels. So the first one is the direct literal speech act to requesting. The first one is the example is the draw me a sheep from chapter 2. So in these lines, the speaker uses an imperative sentence which normally function to give a request. Here's the intended function is to request. So the little prince is just requesting to the narrator to draw him a sheep. The meaning is literal, what he say, that what he want. And he essentially wants a drawing a sheep. And this is a direct literal speech act because the form, function as the meaning is all match. And the next one is the direct non-literal form. So the example is, here is a mushroom from chapter 7. So the statement is declarative form, typically used for giving the information. But however, the meaning is not the non-literal. The little prince is not saying the man is actual the mushroom, but this is a metaphor form to expression that used to criticize the man's boring, empty, and mechanical life. So the form is matched the function stating something, but the meaning is non-literal, making it a direct non-literal. And the third one is the indirect literal request. So the example is, may I sit down, from the chapter 10. In this line is question in a form, but its function is a request the permission, even though it's indirect because he does not say let me sit, but the real meaning is still literal. He truly wants to sit down, so it's indirect in form but the literal in meaning. So for the last finding I found from the Little Prince novels is the indirect non-literal request. So the example is, don't linger me like this, you decide to go away, now go, from the chapter 9. So the sentence is an imperative which usually give a command, but here the flower's intended function is not really to command him to leave, but the meaning is non-literal. She is hiding her real feelings, she does not want him to leave. Her words are an indirect way to express sadness, fear, and emotional vulnerables. So this makes an indirect non-literal refusals, but because she actually wants the opposites of what she says. Okay, so for the next example comes from Wicked movie. There are, for example, the first one is good news, she's dead. It's using the declarative literal meaning. So in this line, the speaker uses 4 stated the information to the function is to report the news, that the speaker is simply telling the others that the wicked is that the real what happened. There is no hidden meaning behind the sentences. It really means that the good news, the wicked is that. And it's a straightforward sentences. And the second one is the direct literal request or the call. The sentence is come out, come out. So this sentence is used imperative, which is the type of form that used for the giving the request, and the function is to tell the people to come out, to people, the audience, to come out from their house. And this is one is also the literal meaning, no behind meaning from this sentence. It really means that the people from the audience have to come out. And we have two examples left. So the direct non-literal, the hyperbole. The sentence is the wickedest which there ever was. So this line uses a declarative form, but it's not meant to be taken literally. So the function is to express an evaluation about the which characters. It's not literal because it's used the hyperbole. The speaker does not have the actual ranking of the which in existence, and instead emphasize how extremely wicked she is claimed to be. And the last one is the indirect non-literal. So the sentence is no one mourns the wicked. So here's the speakers use a declarative sentence, but the purpose is not only to state it, but also to report the information. So the function is to express the social condemnations towards the people who called as the wicked. So the meaning is non-literal because it states use the hyperbole, and it suggests that absolutely nobody mourns the wicked individuals, which stands for the wicked.
Hello everyone, my name is Davinka and my student number is 012, and in these sections I will explain an example of politeness from Pride and Prejudice based on politeness principle, phase ones, politeness strategies, linguistic politeness, and cross-cultural aspects. The first instance is Darcy says Elizabeth is tolerable. This breaks the approbation maxim and threatens her positive face. It is bold on record insult. His high status and cold tone make it especially impolite. And then the second instance, Mr. Collins proposed by listing his reasons for marrying. This threatens Elizabeth's negative face because he assumes she will accept. The strategy is built on record with formal but self-important tone. And then the third instance is Elizabeth rejects Darcy by calling him arrogant. This threatens Darcy's positive face. Her refusal is built on record, showing directness and honesty, even though he is from the higher status. And then the fourth instance, Lady Catherine demands answers from Elizabeth. This violates tact and modesty maxims and threatens both positive and negative face. Her commanding tone and high social power create a strong face threaten act, or FDA. And then the fifth instance is Bingley praises the ladies at the ball. This follows the approbation maxim and supports positive face. His warm tone shows politeness and social friendliness. And then the sixth instance is Wickham flatters Elizabeth. This uses positive politeness to appeal to her positive face. His charming tone shows how flattery and function. His charming tone shows how flattery can function as politeness, even if insincere. And then the seventh instance is Elizabeth uses irony, such as saying Darcy is all politeness. This off-record politeness, an indirect way to criticize while protecting social harmony. And then the last instance, the eighth instance, is Jane speaks modestly and softly, avoiding negative judgment. Avoiding negative judgment. This follows the modesty maxim and supports others' positive face. Her gentle tone reflects politeness stand by cultural expectations of restraint. So these 8 examples shows how character use different politeness strategies depending on power, tone, and social relationships. That's all from us. Thank you very much.